Dudes, it's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So we got another episode this week in Warframe. We're going over the entire weekly reset, and yes, these videos will be changing when the new infested lich update comes out on March 19th. But for right now, we've got a ton of stuff to cover still, and I'll probably change these videos up when they come out. But either way, if you enjoy these types of videos, we do them on a weekly basis, and I do daily Warframe video uploads on this channel. So come on, stop by the live stream channel as well if you want to check out a lot of the content. Really appreciate the support. All right, let's get right into it. First item, Umbra Forma Blueprint at Teshin. Yes, Umbra Formas are going to be not exciting to everybody, but yes, we have one over here for 150 steel, and it'll be available for an entire week. Speaking of things that are time limited, you are actually, if you're watching this soon after it comes out, the last hours of the Belly of the Beast arcane event. And I am on the proper relay to show you this, but in 18 hours, 58 minutes, you will not have access to the grinding of this event. You can also get a ton of items and cosmetics from the Mercury relay. Just go over to Ordis. Now, the things you have to worry about, air quotes worry about, make sure you turn in your volatile motes for things like the Eidolon arcanes. And I have a video showing the best arcanes you want that. But the thing you don't have to worry about turning in at all until you feel like it is going to be the vestigial motes. These are going to be always able to be turned in, whereas the volatile motes that drop from the event itself are going away in less than 20 hours. So keep that in mind. And you got a few hours to turn. The store will be around for one more hour after the event goes away. But yeah, go turn in your event arcanes like right now, basically. With that event going away tomorrow, we have a new event starting on Friday. It's not going to be the exact same situation. It's not going to be like a clan operation, but the 12th anniversary for Warframe does start on Friday. And as far as what that entails, we don't have the full details, but we do know we'll be getting a new ephemera that looks pretty nice from just logging into the game. So if you want a free ephemera, starting next Friday, I'll cover it again when we get more information on it. But yeah, as of right now, quick heads up, new ephemera for the 12th anniversary starting on next Friday. We've also got Star Days going away in 2 days as well, but that's not as important as it's mostly cosmetics related. All right, moving on to the Dorma Zone over here. We've got some pretty decent stuff. We got a Rifle Riven mod for 15 Pathos, an Orokin Catalyst for 20 Pathos, and some other various things like a Forma Blueprint, 5k Kuva, and an Exilus Weapon Adapter. This is one of the few places you can get free Orokin Catalyst in Warframe, so definitely consider that if you have the Pathos clamps to spare.
Unpredictable.
Okay, so as far as what I said earlier, the weekly reset is changing. There are going to be new weekly reset missions added in the Warframe 1999 Tech Rot Encore update. It's going to be called an ETA, Elite Temporal Archimedea, and it's going to be very similar to what we discussed for the EDA. So get ready for even more weekly starting soon. Another thing that you might want to care about with the new Infested Lich update is going to be some of these calendar buffs. But thankfully, these calendar buffs are going to be not active during March 19th, so we'll talk about that more when that does come up in a couple of weeks. But as of right now, some of your weekly loot you can grab. You can grab another Orokin Catalyst here, so you can get an Orokin Catalyst here and from the Dorma Zone, so great stuff there. And after that, you have the options of these buffs: Psionic Feedback, giving an AoE radiation proc on damage, increased crit chance from Practice Precision, or increased power strength from AoE again. Is that like fourth time? So it's the fourth time we're getting power gains from AoE. That is going to be some massive power strength for sure. Moving on, you are going to be having the options of one arcane or a secondary arcane adapter. And you got double birthdays. And then afterwards, you got the perks of Trick Shots, which gives you a 10% chance to fire a seeking projectile on each successful hit. Firing weapons reduces the chance by 10%. That sounds crazy good, but that free shot perk from last week actually overrode Cyto 9's ammo packs, unfortunately. So big anti-synergy on this one with Cyto 9. I'll probably still grab this new one to try it out. Never mind, we got Overpower on here. I take it back. Combo Wave, a new one. Upon getting 7x combo multiplier, all melee attacks fire off waves of energy. Whoa, that one sounds kind of crazy good. That's a new one as well. Combo Wave. Energy. All melee attacks release waves of energy. Interesting. But the one that you pretty much have to take because it's so ridiculous is called Overpower. Casting abilities increases ability strength by 2% and reduced efficiency by 1% per energy unit spent for 5 seconds. I believe they cap us out at like 200% power strength, but yes, it is nuts. So I'd recommend you pick this one up if you haven't tried it already, but maybe I'll try one of these other two as well, because they all sound pretty entertaining. After that, you got a melee arcane adapter or a single arcane. And afterwards, you get a Orokin reactor blueprint or a double pack of arcanes from the new update, or from this update. And then afterwards, Another Aura Former has returned. Okay, so part of my prep video that I'm going to make there this week, these Aura Formers are becoming Omniformas in the new update. So this is going to be basically a nearly universal polarity slot besides Umbra in the new update. So make sure you grab that, and do not grab the Exos Adapter Blueprint, in my opinion, compared to this. Then after that, for the final tier, oh my gosh, we got a green shard here, and or a Vosphor pack of 200. So guaranteed green shard and a guaranteed Aura Forma. These are worth doing if you like these types of, powerful loot drops. Very nice stuff. And for the final tier, a 5th power gains. You could get power gains 5 times. Jeez. Okay, so another power gains again. Emergency medicine, which will give all restoration effects increased effectiveness. And the last one, got your back, giving specters and companions more damage. So I'm going to definitely take that. I'll have so much power strength in these missions. So yes, as we were discussing earlier, though, those buffs will work in the new EDA that's going to be on this planet. So it's going to require rank 5, just like the EDA, the current one does. And it will also consume the same 2 Netrocell search pulses, okay? So, long story short, there will be 2 EDAs, and they're going to both drain for the same 5 Netrocell search pulses, so you'll be doing 2 EDAs and 1 normal Netrocell after the 19th update, ideally. That would be the most possible loot. And those buffs do expire before the Infested Lich update come out, so don't worry too much about getting them this week. But in like 2 weeks, maybe care about them more to be more powerful against Infested Liches. Okay, so as far as our mission types, we got Mirror Defense, Alchemy, and Disruption. And these missions are going to be the best spot to get Archon Tau Shards. And the new mission will also be like the exact same loot, basically, with a couple extra new things added in. But for Mirror Defense, each glyph you pick up will do a little bit of damage to the objective. Enemies will also take less damage, but take less damage and also they're going to deal less damage and take increased damage, but also have increased movement speed, and also enemies will explode. So the Rupturing Fragments modifier is an evil modifier on this one. So you have to defend the objective. So I have Korra right here. Korra's Whip Claw and Strangledom is not nerfed yet, so it will still be good in the future too. But yeah, it will be good objective defense. These enemies deal a lot of damage with explosions, so be really careful about those shuffling fragments becoming Rupturing Fragments. Alchemy, it's not going to be too bad, hopefully, but it does have one of my least favorite modifiers of the Eximus Amphors. Eximus just always drop Amphors, but they only drop from Eximus. So you're going to have a shortage of alchemic grenades in this mission, sadly, so just keep that in mind, that it's going to be a little bit of a slog. Speaking of a slog, Entanglement. Allies within 4 meters of a slight enemy have reduced movement and parkour velocity, so yeah, you're going to be, probably nuking down so many non-Exodus enemies, and they're going to drop no grenades, and they're going to also slow you down, so have fun with that. And the final one here, Fortified Foes, Guardian Eximus will also appear, including Guardian Eximus mechs. And for your final modifiers here, on the Disruption mission, you got double Demolishers, which is honestly, it makes it easier, in my opinion. They get stuck on walls a lot, but yeah, double Demolishers, you get 2 Demolishers per spawn, but they have reduced health. Bolster Belligerents, all enemies have increased Overguard, or they have all Overguard equal to fixed with their maximum health. And the final modifier, Vampire Luminous. These little Vampire Cloud demon children will follow you around and drain your energy and health. As far as your personal modifiers, reduced ability duration by 50% with abbreviated abilities. Your shield regen is ruined with lethargic shields. Frame Curse Syndrome, meaning you take damage whenever you cast an ability. And Knife Step Syndrome, you lose health while moving, and jumping will pause the effect. Nothing here preventing your operator or preventing your gear items like elite on-call crew members or ammo pads or whatever. So, a little bit of long EDA and a really annoying... there's one annoying modifier each of these missions. Exploding Fragments, Eximus Amphors, and the Vampire Luminous. So a pretty annoying week, but I think you'll be able to handle it. Alright, moving on to Bird 3 over here. This requires rank 5 with the Syndicate. And it's going to be a guaranteed shard each week, and this week we got a blue shard in Bird 3. Spoiler, there's going to be a blue Archon Hunt too, so hopefully you like blue shards. So, as far as the additional information for the new update, you're going to want to make sure you have your Lich, like no current Lich active, because that will lock you out of the new infested Liches. But going over the circuit and all that, let's actually take a quick look at the Archon Hunt first. So we got the blue Archon shard from the Owl Archon with mission types being Sabotage, Interception, and the final boss showdown. That's pretty straightforward. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of blue shards. I have an excess of blue shards compared to the rest of this stuff, but it is what it is. Moving on to the circuit, we've got the farmable frames this week being Nidus, Octavia, and Harrow. Some really annoying frames to farm. I'd recommend going for Nidus. This is the one I have the worst memories of farming. This comes from Infested Salvage. But they're all pretty bad to farm, to be honest. You have your work cut out for you this week. But yeah, as far as the Helminth abilities, Larva pulls enemies in. For the Helminth ability of Octavia, Resonator, it's like a disco ball that makes enemies not work properly. And for Condemn, some chains that will stun enemies and give you shields. So these are very annoying to farm, so take your pick. I would definitely say go for Nidus. But the other two are pretty annoying too, with Octavia coming from various spots, including puzzle rooms, and Harrow coming from, I think, Defection? Defection and various other spots too. So yeah, go for Nidus. You do not want to farm Infested Salvage, trust me. Then moving on to the Incarnons, we got some top tier Incarnons this week, some of the strongest guns in Warframe. But reminder, you can grab this stuff over here if you have not played Warframe in a while and you already have those Incarnons. Alright, so let's start off with the Torrid Incarnon, the Dual Tox Incarnon, the Dual Ichor Incarnon, the Miter Incarnon, and the Atomos Incarnon. So you are looking at literal meta weapons here that if you don't have this stuff, you basically are not as OP as people that do have it. So, as far as the first item here, the Torrid Incarnon. It's a infested grenade launcher normally, but once you get some no headshots required, like body shots work, it will charge the Incarnon form, turn it into a chaining toxin beam. I got some videos on the channel if you want to check it out for some Torrid builds, but yeah, it can easily slay out max level enemies and have a great, easy time, minimal aiming needed, because it doesn't even require any headshots. The Incarnon perks are really good here too, giving you hybrid stats, crit stats, or status. And I usually go for the hybrid one on this one. Yeah, really powerful weapon here. Is definitely considered top tier by a lot of players. If you don't have this thing, you probably should grab it at least right now, because if you don't grab it, you have to wait 2 months to get it again. Next, the Dual Toxist Incarnon. Another top tier weapon. You might have watched my Furus video from like 2 weeks ago, and you're like, well, the Furus annihilates, but it has limited range. Welcome to the competitor to the Furus, which is why you have to argue the Furus is not the best sometimes, because this thing exists. Unlike the Furus, let's focus on the Dual Tox right now. The Dual Tox Incarnon requires headshots to charge its Incarnon form, but once you enter Incarnon form, it will ricochet to nearby enemies and go into full auto mode. We have a full auto setting in Warframe anyway, but still, really good. The damage of this thing is overwhelming, and the Incarnon perks are very strong too. We've got a perk called Fevered Frenzy. On ability cast, 5% multi-shot, second to 20 times. So just for a low-level perk right here, it gives 100% multi-shot. That's really, really strong. So make sure you grab that one. The other one's pretty okay too, Carnage Rain. But yeah, these are good perks here, and a big crit chance increase at Commodore's Fortune makes these things able to shred enemies in one bullet at max level. So yeah, it's got range, unlike the Furus. This thing can be like a sniper pistol, pretty much. A chaining sniper pistol. I'd highly recommend it as your first or second choice this week. For the Dual Ichor Incarnon, these things are really fun. There's some really, really strong melee dual swords, but unfortunately they're in a week where some of the other weapons are so top tier. You have to really decide between getting these three. But yeah, as far as the Incarnon perk on this thing, once you get a 6x multiplier and do a heavy attack, your kills will create a toxin cloud on the enemy's dead body. So that toxin cloud can proc things, it can kill more enemies. It's just a very, very nice little AoE melee that you got. And it also is not too shabby at single target as well. If you want to kill level 10,000 frax, these things can handle it. So yeah, as far as some of the perks on here, lots of attack speed from Ronin's Rush. And unfortunately not the best top tier Incarnons on this one. Like you get a ton of status chance increase, no crit chance increase, but yeah, they don't need that kind of crit chance increase technically to do one-shot level 10,000 damage. Highly recommend these things on Lavos, but yeah, here's the weakness of them, not being as good as some things maybe. They don't have any mobility bonuses besides the Incarnon perk itself, give you sprint and parkour. Besides that, they're great. They're really good for killing enemies. They're not really good at buffing your movement speed, but not every weapon is meant to do that anyway. So, a great third option this week. Miter Incarnon. I love this thing, but I will not pretend like it's not clunky feeling. The Miter Incarnon is a saw blade launcher that you could charge up kind of like a bow. Once you hit some headshots, you will be able to enter Incarnon form. The saw blades become bouncing, exploding saw blades that have really, really good damage. That being said, you only get 20 saw blades, so if you fully charge your Incarnon ammo, you get 20 shots, and you expend them really quickly. Compared to the Torrid having like probably over 100 shots, this thing, it's a lot of transforming back and forth, which is why I can't recommend it as highly, although the damage might be there. As far as some of your perks on this thing, you got a ton of crit chance, and some fire rate too. So lots of good stuff. But yeah, it's definitely very clunky feeling. You know that it can one-shot Acolyte really, really hard. And for the final Incarnon this week, get the Atomos Incarnon. This weapon already, so just right off the bat, this weapon without the Incarnon is a chaining beam. The Tauren Incarnon requires an Incarnon to even do that. So setting the stage already, it is good at base. That being said, once you go into Incarnon form with this thing, after some headshots, it will become a grenade launcher, like a really hard-hitting grenade launcher with good crit stats. But the problem is maybe potentially getting to that Incarnon form, because as you use this thing, if you're not going for headshots, unlike the Tauren, it requires headshots. And when it chains, it does not go for headshots. You're going to be killing enemies you probably should have been headshotting with this thing, so you're going to be having potentially a lack of Incarnon ammo. And maybe even a lack of normal ammo at the same time, because it does not have the best ammo pool. That being said, lots of good stuff here as far as crit buffs with Paladin Virtue. If you have over 700 energy, which is a lot, you will increase your base crit by 1x, which is very good because that's what mods scale off of. Additionally, you have an increased beam range on Moonrise Velocity, which is why you can't take Mercenary Chamber, giving you a massive ammo buff. But yeah, more beam range is always good on a beam weapon. And for the final tier perks, you got lots of good stuff. Ton of crit, ton of status, or hybrid. I like this thing a lot, but I can't act like it's going to be a higher recommendation than anything else this week. Maybe over the lighter, but not even that. So as far as your number 1 and number 2 recommendations this week, you have one of the best primaries in the game and one of the best secondaries in the game. So as far as your recommendations on which one to get first, I'd say go for the Tauren first. It's going to be a nice, reliable primary for you. But let's say that you already have the Latron Incarnon or something you really, really like. You could go for a pistol. You know, you go for the Dual Tox as your number 1. Because you got to remember too, guys, hitting rank 5 in the circuit is a lot less grinding and effort compared to rank 10. Rank 10 is so much more grinding compared to rank 5. So if you don't have enough time to grind through the week, I'd say Tauren number 1. If you don't have a good primary, if you have like the best secondary, if you're okay with the Furus, you have the Furus, then maybe don't go for the Dual Tox, but eventually you should get it because it is really nice. As far as number 3, Dual Ichor, so good, but it's next to some of the best guns in the game, so it's hard to recommend over these other 2. So yeah, hope that was fun and helpful to you guys. Let's go over our Nightwave challenges. And again, when we get that new weekly mission starting on March 19th, I will probably have to shuffle these videos around a little bit, but I'm going to try to still give you guys the best info in those videos. Okay, so for our Nightwave challenges, got the first one, Cache Hunter. Get 6 caches across any sabotage mission. Friendly Fires, another weekly. While piloting a hijacked railjack cruise ship, destroy 3 enemy fighters. That's such an annoying challenge. You would never normally do that. And your first Elite Weekly is a big dud. It's 3 sorties. You gotta beat 3 sorties, 3 days of gameplay, basically, to get that challenge done. At least we're not unlocking any of the new augment mods this week, right? And for your last Elite Weekly, complete any arbitration mission. You can just do 1 wave and leave. So that's a pretty easy challenge right there. And your permanent weeklies, kill the Eximus, complete 15 missions, and kill 500 generic enemies. Okay, so as far as the Nightwave store this week, reminder, we have a Proto-Saren skin on the way. So, you know, maybe save up some plat for that too. Your Evergreen stuff at the top as per usual. Got some Solstice skins for some nice weapons here. Got a Corvex helmet, a Jade helmet. Nice to see. We've got, for Aura mods, Rejuvenation, EMP Aura, and Sprint Boost. Sprint Boost is pretty good. And for augment mods, you got Dizzying Rounds of the Bronco, a must-have mod for the Bronco. Metamorphic Magazine, which gives the Gorgon a petrification ability if you hit 20 cumulative shots. Deadly Maneuvers for the Magnus, which gives a ton of crit chance after dodging. And Bursting Master of the Quantum, which does a lot of stuff. You have some Wolf Beacons here as well, and also some Mastery Fodder with a Plasma Sword. Alright, so as far as that, I think I'm going to cut out these invigorations here at the end because we're going to have so much more to talk about in these upcoming videos, but the last couple invigoration sections in these videos, just for funsies, let's see what we got this week. I appreciate all the support on the recent videos as well, guys. And come on, stop the live stream if you haven't already. Alright, first, buff for Grendel. Increased secondary crit chance and 5 jump resets. These are random per player per week, so hopefully you got a better Grendel one than me if you got Grendel this week. Next, Dagoth. I keep forgetting to make her video. Increased 100% ability range and also 1,000 extra health. That's nice to see. And also one for Limbo. Increased ability duration and increased ability efficiency. Gotta love duration on Limbo, but yeah, I'm probably not going to be equipping him unless I'm forced to or something at any point. So that's basically it for the weekly reset video, guys. You know, you got the anniversary event starting on Friday. You got, you know, some other stuff. You know, these events are ending. Go turn in your volatile motes, please. If you pull anything from this video, turn in your volatile motes, get that Torrent Incarnon, and yeah, get ready for the Infested Lich update on March 19th. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.